Hello, hello, and welcome back to Space Engineers on the Xbox on the Series X for this very special tutorial. Now, the tutorial itself is part 2 of the AI flight move and the AI recorded task blocks, but it's also April the 27th. Not only is this one day away from the release of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, it's also the anniversary of the channel, because in 2000, on April the 27th, I uploaded the first Xbox tutorial for Space Engineers. So 3 years later, in 2023, I have now started this tutorial on April the 27th. And it's a good one, because this is all about the connector landing with the AI. So, without messing about, you'll see that I've followed my own advice from last time, and I have some AI waypoints being shown. Go back to my previous video on this and take a look how to do that. But to give you a quick refresher, make sure show all AI functions is on. Go to your chosen vehicle with your blocks. Make sure your move controller and your task are aligned correctly, and also on the block itself, in your AI recorded task, you need to ensure that show path on HUD, show selected points, they're enabled, but also you've got to have show on HUD for this to work. And when you do that, you'll see that I have some points appearing on the map. So what are we doing? Well, our objective is to get my red scout fly there to come down onto that connector and lock automatically. Now you'll see that I have 2 very close waypoints here, and I'm only 3 waypoints there, very similar to the one over there where I've got a lot more waypoints. This one lets you jump into here, activate flight move, activate the docking sequence. So it'll turn collision avoidance off if that's on. It'll move to waypoint 1, and it will move to waypoint 2, and then just down to waypoint 3. When it gets to waypoint 3, the AI recorder on the waypoint is going to tell it to lock the connector, just like so. And that is how you get your drone like this to come down. But there are a few things you need to set up on the block first. So let's go over to my fresh ship here, my little scout flyer, and let's have a look at the setup. So for a start, you want AI flight move, AI behavior on and off on the D-pad up. You want AI recorded task play on and off on D-pad left, and you want to add AI recorded task add waypoint. And if you remember how you add shortcuts, hold the D-pad direction you want, pick the block you need, and choose the control you want. Now, if you want to get rid of it, hold down the same direction and press X. So, there you go. No waypoints are set on this at all. So if we go here into our control panel and we take a look at our AI flight move first, we want to make sure collision avoidance is off when we come down to land on our grid. So we want an approach waypoint that will turn that off, preferably far enough away from the grid that you don't trigger the collision avoidance. Then a speed of 10 meters a second, I'm leaving the drone on the slowest speed, or the ship, minimum altitude. You want it at 0 because you want this to come as close to the ground as possible. Aligned to P gravity is important for connectors that are placed vertically, ones aligned upwards. If you have a connector placed horizontally, you need to turn this off. I'll go over that in a bit. I'll show you why. Your match pitch angle and your max roll angle on this, well, you can set this by double tapping A and type 10 and lock it in and do the same. Type 10. Oops. Damn it. Slightly. There we go. Type 10 and log it in. And that's all the setup you need. Remember, though, we're going to need to turn collision avoidance off. So how do we go about setting this to do its thing? Well, remember that we've got the add waypoint function. So what we're going to do, first of all, is we're actually going to do this in reverse. Let's just realign myself. And so all we want, and to make sure as well, if you look in your control panel, you want to make sure that your connectors are named correctly. Because I have a connector 3 and I have a scout connector. Now, scout connector is the one that should be on the underside. To check it, just go into its control panel and you'll see it's called scout connector. Do that again. Hold down both bumpers and then press the inventory button, scout connector. So we're on the scout connector. We know that's what it's called. So we're going to come down and we're going to align this ship over our makeshift landing pad here. And our connector will tell us when it's ready to lock. And it will wobble the ship a bit. So we lock it. Now it's locked. Wait for a few seconds, then unlock it again. Then press A on the controller and bring your ship up to a point where you want your first waypoint. Remember, I said we want one that turns collision avoidance off. So we're going to put a waypoint down by pressing down on the D-pad. Do not move the ship at all. Forward, backward, left, right. Leave it exactly as it is and just tap B. And set a second waypoint here underneath that. This is now your approach waypoints. And you don't really need to worry overly much. If you want to slow it down again when you get above your connector, then just wait till you get to the desired height, say about here. Just give it another waypoint. And then come all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Let it settle on the connector there. And then put a waypoint. Now, hold down on B and tap the waypoint button again. Now let it go. Those are your waypoints. Locks the connector, unlock the connector, move the ship away. Right. So, remember what I said. We want control panel. We want our AI recorder task block, and we want to come down. And by now, you should know how to navigate your menus. Remember, left stick to get across to your chosen menu, and then D-pad to scroll down it. We've got our waypoints here. Look. So at waypoint 0, we are going to select that waypoint with A. We're going to use our stick to get down to this menu, and then we're going to click A again and set up the action. And we want the AI recorder, the AI flight move block, I believe, and we want collision avoidance off, like so. With that off, we want to come back to our list and we want to look at waypoint 4. And now you can set up the action on waypoint 4. And what you're looking for is your scout connector. And you want to turn that to lock. You've now got your scout connector locked. And if it's all working properly, like so, you should be able to come to your controls. You should be able to turn on your AI recorded path, push up on the D-pad. You'll notice that your ship will tilt. If you want to stop the tilt altogether, just turn everything on the P-gravity setting to 0. Right, collision avoidance is now off. And it will start coming down. Now, there is a slight problem with having a 10-degree tilt sometimes. We're down and we're locked. First time, boom. And that's how easy it is to set up these things. Now, what you can do is if you're having some problems aligning this thing to the connector, it's not quite, say, working properly with the lock, you can put a timer block onto the grid and lock the connector after 2 seconds like that. So you can slap a timer block, say at the back, and lock the connector instead of triggering the action. But as you can see, with this, it's locked first time. Just like this one. It's the same. Turn off the AI, off the connector. Now this one, and let's just make sure I have flight move. Right, we're just going to set these to 0. And then come back to base. Now you'll see that the ship will maintain its steady altitude, its steady horizon. Its attitude is not going to change at all. It's going to come down onto these connector points and lock. That is your simple guide on how to get these things down onto a vertical connector. What about a horizontal connector? Well, in gravity, things change. In space, you don't have to worry so much. But in gravity, this is what happens. Now, I'm hoping that I've actually left it so that it will have P gravity on and not turn P gravity off. So we're going to come down to this waypoint. And we're going to tilt. And you'll notice that our ship is going to tilt. It's going to tilt. It's going to tilt. And it's going to stop here. That didn't work. But now, our P gravity setting is on. And if you look at my waypoint AI recorded test block, you'll see that I have aligned to P gravity on off and connect to 3 lock. So if I now take this thing away and bring it back in, again, I think I'll just turn that off. There we go. So this time, turns off our alignment to P gravity. Our ship reverses and comes in smoothly onto your horizontal connector, gets closer, and the last little waypoint pushes it towards the connector and it locks. No need for timer blocks, no need for anything like that. And that is the same setup as the one over there. Just think like that, but always assure one of those waypoints turns off P gravity. Ensure it's on when you're flying around in the ship itself, and then when that ship gets to 0, it's going to turn around and pop the connector on top of the connector there. It's the same setup as the one over there as well. You just get into the ship, align it onto that connector, fly it forwards, don't change its height or anything, set a waypoint 0, come back, set 1 here, and then push hard against the connector. You can lock the connector if you so desire, and then make sure, though, that you're still pushing back. So I suggest not locking the connector. I suggest literally just pushing back. You could turn the connector off if you want, so that it has no magnetism whatsoever. But personally, I've found it works with the connector just ready to lock, pull back until you can't go back any further, and just set a second docking waypoint and use that one to turn the connector lock to lock. And that is it. That's all you need to do to get a little flyer like that, or a ship, to dock on gravity worlds to connectors like this. And I wanted to make this one today, and I wanted to do it short and sweet because I don't believe in waffling on. So the next tutorial that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to jump to the event controller, because I've seen a lot of people ask how to make a skimmer. Now, these things aren't exactly the greatest on console without the PC's superior ability to create scripts and so on, but you can do it. You can make a flyer turn into a skimmer. You just have to use the event controller, and it's a very simple setup. But I'll leave that one for the next video. So thank you very much for the likes, for the subscribes, for the support over the last 3 years. I've had this channel for a lot longer. It's been up for a lot longer than 3 years. But Space Engineers on the Xbox, 3 years of content for this game, and it's been staggering. Once again, if I hit 2,000 subscribers, I am going to release as a milestone for that, along with Paul Thompson, aka Butcher Boy Toma, the Star Wars all-terrain armored transport, and the AT-ST, and anything else that Paul feels like throwing in on that map. It will go up on mod.io, and then you'll be able to play around with it. I'm sure Paul is beavering away, though, at using the automatons update to really improve those. Not as though they need much improvement, because if you watch our showcase, they're incredible. That's all from me, though. So stay safe, take care, have fun, enjoy the game. Happy automatons engineering. If you have any questions, feel free to throw me a comment on the video or on the community part of my channel. I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.